Alright guys, part 2 of our Halloween unboxing. Okay, so last time I talked about the Halloween movies that I love to watch on Halloween. Yes, I only have 8 packs to open, but I probably skipped over a bunch of horror movies that I actually do enjoy watching, just not on Halloween most of the time. And as we start this new one, let's just go through 8 of them. And one I think is very interesting to me because, yes, I love it. I've loved it since it first came out. I remember begging my parents to get it for me when I first saw it at Walmart in Chieflin. And back then, you know, VHSs, they would play the movies out in the aisles and everything. And one that really caught my eye was this very strange animation, and I had never really seen it. I mean, I had watched Gumby, David and Goliath, a lot of those weird, let's see, I want to say Reboot wasn't out at the time when I first saw that. I was really young. Can't really remember when Night Before Christmas came out, but yes, Night Before Christmas. Begged my parents to get it for me. I absolutely loved it, and I love that it became such a cult icon. It became... I mean, it did take a while. I mean, in my school it did. Like, I didn't really see people getting into Nightmare Before Christmas for about, like, maybe 6 years after it came out. I just loved it, and I watched it every single day. Yes, even after Christmas. But nowadays, I mean, even after Halloween, but nowadays, though, I haven't really watched it. I have it. I have the special edition. Some things about Night Before Christmas. Those of you who played Kingdom Hearts, you know you anticipated having Jack Skellington on your team. I mean, and yes, the first world in Kingdom Hearts 1 was a little, I mean, it could have been better. And then they kind of upgraded a little bit in Kingdom Hearts 2, and they didn't do anything for 3, which makes sense, because what are you going to keep doing? You're going to keep bringing Oogie Boogie back? Now, the one thing that I do love, that a lot of you don't know, if you've, you know, played this game, was Oogie's Revenge on the PS2, which was one of my absolute favorite games. I have not played it since I first got it. I mean, I tried to get all the skins for Jack and everything, but kind of gave up after a while. Loved the music. That's the thing. I love the music they create with Nightmare Before Christmas. And they didn't really do that with Kingdom Hearts, because you gotta take your time in doing other things with the game and Sora. And it also depends on what Disney was allowing them to do at the time. But yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas, great movie. Will always be one of my top favorite movies of all time. I have not watched it in over a decade. I still remember the songs. I have the CD of all the songs. So, yeah. Love it forever. We have a Magnemite, Spider, Catcher, Clawcher, Nest Ball, this thing, this thing, this thing, a weird-looking squirrel. And we have that really cool-looking Slowbro again, but we've had about 3 of him already. Shame. Next up, let's talk about Nightmare on Elm Street. And what's weird is that when I first saw Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah, I was scared of it. But I think Jason scared me more. I think that a lot of, like, The Simpsons made fun of it with Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace. I think I saw that before seeing Nightmare on Elm Street. So I wasn't really scared. I was really never scared of Freddy. I was scared of the concept of it. Kind of like how the Weeping Angels are in Doctor Who. And they make those damn things so goddamn scary. And especially the Angels Take Manhattan, where they possess the Statue of Liberty. Holy crap, that is a scary-ass scene. But Freddy... I don't know. The first Nightmare on Elm Street is really good. My dad actually preferred the second one, and I've watched it. It's a love-hate. And I usually only watch it like once every 5 years. It's one that you kind of want to forget about because it's not very memorable. But when you watch it, you're like, okay, I kind of see where they're going, and it's just not one I want to watch again. And then you kind of go up to the Dream Warriors, Dream Master, the Dream Child, and then Freddy's Dead. But they just got hokier each time until you got to New Nightmare, which was Wes Craven's take of the first one. Because Wes Craven really had nothing to do with the sequels and everything. He got mad that they made those. So he was like, I'm going to end Freddy my own way. And Wes Craven, you know, rest in peace, man. I mean, we miss you. But yeah, Freddy, yeah, as much as I love Freddy, it's like Chucky a lot of times. You either love Chucky or you just don't get Chucky. And a lot of people don't get Freddy. You know, he's a man, claws for hands or knives for hands. And of course, Rick and Morty with Scary Terry. You had Groundskeeper Willie from The Simpsons. I mean, I think they make fun of that. And there's a lot more parodies of Freddy more, because Freddy was one of those, I mean, you made him talk. That's the thing. If you have someone talk, you kind of give him a character. Whereas as Michael and Leatherface and Jason, you know, they don't talk. So, you know, what can you get out of that? Just stab, stab, stab. But Freddy, yeah. And they don't do it to be mean. I mean, it's just that it's funny because if you look at Scary Terry, the Groundskeeper Willie, or even the episode in Robot Chicken where they kind of did, like, Freddy gets his origins, like his daughter gives him all these gifts, he gets mad, and he accidentally gets burned. It's just fun. And yeah, I mean, I haven't watched Nightmare. I think the last time I watched Nightmare on Elm Street was probably 2018, and that was the second one, so I probably had to, you know, look over that one again, maybe do a marathon. God, it has been a long time since I did a Nightmare on Elm Street marathon. But let's move on. So we have Pig, Bird, Spider, Wattrel, Spiritomb, Ball, Ugly Thing, Growlithe, Go-Goat. Another one of these ugly damn pigs. And sometimes if I'm not feeling really up to a good, you know, stabbing movie, I go to some Romero. And we talked about Russo the last time. But yeah, I don't want to gloss over George Romero. Now, John Romero's Dune. Oh, George Romero, man. Night of the Living Dead is amazing in and of itself. Not the remakes and not the 3D anniversary bullshit. None of that garbage. You want the original Night of the Living Dead. And what's sad is that, you know, I did not anticipate the ending when I first saw this. Where I can't remember what the black guy's name is. And he's such a great character. And they shoot him in the end. And you can interpret, like, did they think he was a zombie, or were they just being racist and everything? And then you move to Dawn of the Dead, and Dawn of the Dead, oh god. I mean, yes, they are, everything just takes place inside the mall, so you either love it or hate it. But the opening of that is so good. And then you can move on to Day of the Dead, which I think is my favorite. And it really doesn't have much in the way of zombie attacks. Yes, you have some zombie attacks. They have to keep going with that. Otherwise, like my sister said, all they're doing is bitching at each other in a bunker. That's all that they're doing. You gotta look past that. You gotta look at Bub and how that mad scientist was trying to, I guess, recreate humanity from the zombies. And you actually feel bad for Bub. You never know what happened to him. He's kind of like Tarman from Return of the Living Dead. You don't really know what happens to him. He's kind of like the mascot and everything. But Bub, you know, you felt for him. He hated Ramirez. I mean, he hated his guts. Maybe he got him killed. I don't remember. And then you can move into Land of the Dead. And Land of the Dead, to me, is the last good one. It really shows the zombies were starting to adapt and to know that they can be a majority of everything. But then you get to Survival of the Dead, and it's just so stupid. I cannot stand these really shitty actors that they get. It's like looking at Power Rangers now. You know, yes, I'm not saying that the ones from Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Turbo, Space, Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed, and Time Force, and I did watch Ninja Storm and everything, but were they the greatest? No. They were more memorable. They had character. The ones that they have now are so childish to the point that no teenager acts like this. They really don't. And it's just kind of poking fun at it. It's a stereotype, basically. And now that they're all woke now, and I hate using that word, I really do, but my god, I don't need it. I don't need it all the time. Ugh. I'm getting off track here. But yeah. So the next one I think is Diary of the Dead, which I think was the last one that Romero did before his passing. Another, you know, rest in peace, George Romero. You will be missed. But yeah, I mean, his isn't scary. It was more along the lines of, you know, this could not happen, but at the same time, what would you do? This isn't like Doomsday Preppers. This is Night of Return of the Living Dead. These are not zombies from, I don't know, Walking Dead or something, which is kind of a combination of Romero and some of the kookier, fast-running zombies. You either slow-running zombies or you have the fast-running type. I prefer the slow zombies. But yeah, again, another good one, guys. Have a marathon of him. Let's move on. We have Dolviv, we have Quaxley, Ponyard, we have Crushing Hammer, Bomberta, Hypno, Beach Court for some reason. This one, and... Alright. Now, here's one I do not advise a lot of first-time watchers to view by themselves. And now, if you're like me, you know, you like watching horror movies in the dark. I do. I always love that. But sometimes I like being scared. And of course, though, I was never scared of Freddy, zombies, and that type of stuff. Michael Myers, maybe. Jason, maybe. But Jason was more of along the line, that's his territory. He's not going to leave if you don't bother him. But at the same time, Michael could roam around. And they showed that in the 2008 version and Halloween Kills. But one that I really, really sends chills up my spine, and that's The Strangers. It is such a simple premise. You have this couple, their boyfriend and girlfriend. He asked her to marry him. He asked her to marry him. She said no. So it kind of falls into this relationship falling apart. Will they make it work or not? They get this. They're staying at this friend's house. It looks like it's in a neighborhood, but no one else is there. And then they get this mysterious knock. This girl asks if this girl is home. They say no. So then she goes off. She comes back. And, oh God, it is just them being tortured. First by, you know, the knocking, the glass breaking. And the one scary scene, I'm not going to give away the whole premise. If you've never seen The Strangers before, I really, really beg you guys to see this if you've never seen it before. A great Halloween movie. There's a scene where she's in the kitchen and she turns and you see the guy wearing like the burlap mask, which is very reminiscent of Jason's first mask in Friday the 13th Part 2, because he didn't have the hockey mask until Episode 3, or Part 3. But, oh, The Strangers. I mean, that shit could actually happen. Just some three crazy nuts, just, you know, and they even said, why are you doing this? And because you were home. There's no other reason for it. The second one isn't bad. I've only seen it one time. I just don't buy that the kids are able to conquer them. I just don't see that. But they kind of didn't want to continue after that, so... Strangers 1, definitely a watch for Halloween. Flabebe, Toxel, Raltz, Rowlett, Ball, Bird, Arvin, not even pronouncing that, Rotom, Sexy Bush. Yeah. Alright, who's up next? Okay. We all know this one, because I think they're starting to become like the main standards of everything, because there's so many of them. But what I like about this series, I'm going to clump them all together, and that is the Conjuring franchise. So you have The Conjuring, you have Annabelle. They were going to do The Crooked Man. I think that got canceled. The Nun 2 is coming out soon by the recording of this. There's La Llorona. I think that's how you pronounce it. That one was okay. They can't really continue that one. But what I love is that whether you believe the Warrens were real or they were just frauds, you know, I mean, there's so many documentaries that you can watch about the Warrens. And I would one day love to visit the Occult Museum. Not for Annabelle. Not for Annabelle. I want to see the Demon Mirror. And I first learned about the Demon Mirror from Most Amazing Top 10, the Occult Museum. And... yeah, I cannot remember the top of my head, but I always told myself, I want to go there to see the Demon Mirror. Like, you can. I don't know if you can. But, yeah, so you have the Conjuring movies, which were great. The first one is just downright, oof. But I always get them confused, because there you have The Conjuring, but you have Insidious. But Insidious are not from, they're from Blumhouse, I think they're both from Blumhouse. And you know, Blumhouse became like the New Line Cinema and everything, Touchstone. So out of those, what do I like better? Like Conjuring, Nun, or Annabelle? I don't know. The Conjuring, I kind of wish they would do other things besides revolving around Annabelle and like The Devil Made Me Do It. I didn't really care for that one. But of course, though, Annabelle is not great. The first Annabelle is not that great. It's not memorable. Annabelle Creations is downright amazing. And then you get to Annabelle Comes Home. It's okay. The Nun, love it. That is one creepy-ass movie. I can't wait to see the second one. I really hope they don't, like, gum it up or something. But yeah, I love how they all tie together, which is what I love. The Conjuring, everyone knows The Conjuring, so there's really no reason to keep going with that. So whatever comes next, I'm hoping that, you know, if they do The Crooked Man, I hope they don't make it like, do they need to do Crooked Man? Was Crooked Man really something, or was it just when the ghosts were able to get into your mind? I don't know. You have Pal, you have Little Baby, I can't talk, so Ralt, oh my god, Jack, Cat, Thing, Jesus, this was a worse one. Alright. Next is one that they did not continue because they didn't. They kind of fucked up with the second movie, and that's in Sinister. The first Sinister, if you have never watched it, will freak you out. And there's one scene in particular, I will not tell you what that scene is because I don't want to ruin it for you. Sinister is great. Simple premise. The previous family of the house that this family moves into were murdered. He didn't tell his wife, but he's writing a book about it. And then he comes across these old film reels of other families being murdered by this guy he thinks is wearing a mask, and it's not. And I don't want to give the twist away. Now, the second one kind of goes with the whole line of the kids, and if you know what I'm talking about, the kids. I didn't like that, and I think that's why they lost so much money, and they couldn't, you know, continue with Sinister 3, however they were wanting to do this. But Sinister 1 will fuck you up the first time seeing it. And there's one scene in particular that I know it's coming now. It's not much of a shock anymore, but I swear to God, I screamed the first time that I saw that. And I have not had a good jump scare like that in a long time. Sinister. See it. We have Grimer, Fish, Cacnea, Sandile, Youngster, Flappy. Oh my god, am I not going to get anything in this bunch? Well, we got 2 left. Okay, might as well talk about this one. Stop. Well, they got tape wrapped around this one? Okay. Just finished watching these 2 weekends. Because I was working on Koji's Ring, the audio, which is now available on Outer Kingdom Productions. It is 7 hours long. Like I said, I did the best I could. It's the first reading that I've done like that. If you want me to continue with Spiral and Loop, Birthday, Tai, S, you know, I probably will next year. I'm not going to have time to do another one of those. I will have to start months in advance because doing that in 1 month was a nightmare. The editing took forever. Oh, yeah. So, let's talk about The Ring and Ringu. Okay. Again, I have not bitched about a movie in so long. 2 movies, in fact. I love the Japanese version better than the American version. The American version, we're going to talk more about, you know, The Ring, the Japanese, the American version compared to the book some other time. I don't know if it's going to be like Pokemon stuff and everything. But what I didn't like about the American version was the whole fact that they had Samara, who is Sadako, she's killed by her mother in this one. But the Ring video itself is so long. In fact, they wanted to make it longer. If you got the DVD, you can actually scroll aside until your cursor is gone and just click that, and it'll show you the complete version of the video, the VHS tape. Completely unnecessary. There was nothing that was needed for any of that junk. Case in point, with Ringu, you had Asakawa played by a woman. Why? I don't know. I don't understand why they needed to add this romantic stuff. Why couldn't you have Asakawa and Ryuji, two men, two best friends? Why did you have to have a romantic partner involved with it? Asakawa in the book had a wife and a daughter. She was a baby. And you made the two kids aware of what was going on. And also in both versions, why was it that Tomoko and the other chick that was killed in the beginning of the movie trying to push the little boy into watching the video? It didn't make any sense. Sadako did not have that power. She wasn't trying to influence people. She just wanted you to watch the video, make a copy, and show it to someone else. That's the Ring virus. You just keep spreading it. She wanted to reproduce. In the book, she wanted to reproduce. She could not reproduce. Samara Sadako was a hermaphrodite. She was beautiful, don't get me wrong. She was not some little girl or a, I guess they put her as a teenage girl in Ringu, which was not true. She was 26, 27, I think. She was raped by this doctor in this asylum, the sanatorium, and then he dumps her body in a well. The well is the only thing that is basically the same. All the different versions of the VHS are wrong, except for the one in the book. And the one in the book is very convoluted too, but it only takes place in the eyes of Sadako, whereas in both the American and Japanese version, it's like they're seeing it. Well, in the American version, they're showing it through the woman that's playing Asakawa. For, I don't know, like the hair pulling out of the mouth, which was so stupid. I screamed at that. I was like, that's so stupid. Why did you need that? Why did you need the ladder? The tree in the background. Oh my god. But of course, the Japanese version is different because you have the hooded figure with the guy with the towel over his head, Ryuji pointing. You know, why was that there? The whole premise of the VHS tape was that she was down there, Sadako was down in the well. She wanted to be heard. Yes, that part was true. But her deepest desire was to reproduce. She knew she couldn't. And after she was raped, she got the smallpox virus in her, and that probably fucked her up a little bit, to the point that her power kind of corrupted her. So in the end, she, you know, needed somebody. And I think the first ones that she did were those 4 college kids, or the 4 high school kids. And they thought it was a joke, so they taped over how to, you know, not get killed. Now, in the American and Japanese version, they don't show you that. Sadako tries to help you. She does help you. Whether she thought that Asakawa and Ryuji were wasting their time trying to find her bones, I don't know. Maybe she did enjoy that, because she does kind of hint to Ryuji in his head that, you know, don't get Mai involved. And, like, again, you know, listen to the book that I've read on my channel, or just get the book in general. I think it's great. But yeah, we're going to do a better deep dive on that. And it's the American version is just so funny and laughable that I just can't watch it without pausing it and doing other things. The Japanese version is still good, and the second Ringu is good too. Again, has nothing to do with the book. It has nothing to do with Spiral at all. Maybe a little bit, but it has nothing to do with Spiral. And it has more to do with Birthday, if I think that right. But I haven't read Birthday but once. But let's move on. We have Fido, we have Scatterbug, we have Drifloon, Sprigu, Hades, Raptor. Come on, am I not going to get anything good? Well, here's one that I have not gotten yet, and that's the Magnezone one. This is the normal one. Well, there's something that comes out of this. Alright, so we're going to wrap this up, guys. What's the last thing we can talk about? And there's a lot of good movies out there. I mean, we could talk about Attack of the Gila Monster, which was stupid. We had the Attack of the Giant Leeches, which was okay. We have Teenagers from Outer Space. I'm not joking. These are all B-grade movies. How about one called Trick or Treat? Trick or Treat, if you don't know, is a movie that is consistent of several different stories molded into one, and they all come together. Kind of like how you think, was it Sinfest? Sinfest? I forget. Bloodfest was that movie that came out several years ago that seemed like it was trying to be like Trick or Treat, but it's not. But Trick or Treat starts off with this woman and her boyfriend. You know, he's got all the cool Halloween stuff on. So what she does is before midnight, she starts tearing this shit down, and, you know, he's like, you got to appease Samhain, the Lord of Halloween. You can't just take this stuff down. And she's like, I don't care, I'm going to do it. And so she gets killed in the most comical way ever. But I mean, you have a story about werewolves and vampires. You have these kids that are mental, I guess, and they get pushed down this cliff on a bus. You have these kids that are mean to this one girl, and they kind of trick her to be her friend, and they kind of, you know, get justice in the end. It's a good movie. It's one of those that I watch every couple of years from now. I don't watch it every Halloween. But yeah, probably want to watch this year again. But yeah, Trick or Treat. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away because everything molds together. That's the problem. You can't talk too much about the movie without it, you know, giving too much away if you've never seen Trick or Treat before. And since we're wrapping this up now, so we have Mareep, Silicobra, Bishar, Riolu, this, Shock, this. Wow. Oh, man. We got one, guys. That's it. Oh, man. Disappointing, but hey, that's what happens. Getting ever closer means you're just going to keep hitting dead ends for right now. And that's it, guys. Maybe we'll come back for another wrapping up horror movies and everything. And, yeah, that's it. I'll see you next time.
And happy Halloween.